Hey, what's happening, plebs? Today I'm going to be doing my Kozmo deck profile. Finally managed to get most of the cards put together and ready for locals tomorrow, I guess. Disclaimer, this isn't like perfect. I still feel like there's a lot more to edit and fix. But I'll point everything that I feel is a bit iffy going forward across the video. So obviously I'm looking for feedback, constructive criticism. And at the same time, I'm providing what I feel like is a kind of decent basis and template for you to go ahead and try out in real life, on DN, test out with your friends and stuff like that, and make changes as you see fit. I think this is probably one of the better builds out there, but you know, there's obviously still some work to do, and hopefully I can get some notes on that as we go forward. So without further ado, I guess I'll start with two baby Garunics. This is for the island targets. You could play one Yaksha instead of two, because Yaksha has niche situations where it can unclog your hand. So that's something to think about as well. But level 3 is pretty relevant because you could usually, most combos end with you having to normal summon this after searching it to make Levier. Two Trooper, you don't really want to play too many pilots. And you need to make space for the new stuff, so I feel like 3 isn't necessary. But this is definitely one of the better ones, and this is what you float down into most of the time with your island plays. But you never really need more than 2, I feel. The life point deficit is really high with this deck, so going for the break sword loops and stuff like that is not... you don't really do that too often, or would need to do that too often anyway. 2 Strawman, 3 is unnecessary, and 2 is good for most of the necessary for most of the combos. So 2 of those, 2 of the new girl, Dart Lady. 3 is too many. You don't want to draw this. It's actually quite hard to summon, because if you do draw it, most of the time you just want to be floating down into her with the end phase effect of Strawman, or sometimes you will summon her if you can spam the board well enough. But 2 is a good number. Reveal off Tin Can and float into another one. So sometimes you can end with 2. In that way. Actually, you ended 2 quite a lot. And this with Infinity is like really nuts. And this with Walker is even better. Finally, last 2 pilots is 2 Tin Can. This is something I'm iffy about. I'm not too sure, so I need to see more opinions on this. But I feel like 2 Tin Can is... it's okay. But most of the time, the reason you're playing 2 is because of the fact that if you're popping things in the end phase with Strawman, then you need something good to float into that isn't Wicked Witch. That isn't Dart Lady. So this is the next best thing, Tin Can. And that's it for the pilots, actually. I'm not playing any more because most of the time you float into your pilots. You don't really want to draw most of your pilots. And Farm Girl, I feel, doesn't facilitate this deck's vision, which is to make a big board, stop your opponent from playing with things like Infinity and Lady, and then kill them next turn. I don't feel like Farm Girl does that too well, in fact at all. So that's why I cut her, but you know, like I said, feel free to feedback on that. I just don't feel like she's necessary. Onto the ships. 1 Forerunner. You have a lack of good high level ships in this deck to be able to float down into Lady or Shuttle for your island plays. So this is just another target. I'd play more Dart Destroyer if I could, and Eclipser sucks obviously, so one of those. 1 Shuttle. Might play 2 because drawing it is actually terrible, and it means you can't do like half the combos with Island. But this is here for the Island combos. You dump Strawman and then float this into Stormtrooper. Yeah. 2 Slip Rider. Use this for comboing off with your field spell. So you pop a field spell, get a search, or blow up your field, and then float into Stormtroopers, Strawmans, etc. It's level 5 machine, and it goes into Infinity. So 2 is a good number. You actually don't use it for back row, by the way. Like, if you're worried about back row, this is not the card for back row. Like, that's not why it's there. The most underestimated card in the whole set, Landwalker. Level 6, so it floats into Lady when it dies. It protects Lady from battle. It protects your field from being in Dark Cold or Raigeki'd if you have Kozmo Town. It's an allure target, and it can float itself into another Lady because it's level 6. And with Island, it lets you float into Shuttle. There is nothing bad about this card. It is so, so good. And I just don't know why people don't play 3. Like, it's just... I love this. It's so good. So good. And 3 Dart Destroyers. Field Spells, 3 Cosmotown. 3 Terraforming, and 3 Island. Because if you don't see this card, you're literally just playing Cosmo from last format. and that's boring. So this is what you want to see, this is what you want to draw. It gives you all the plays that make this deck what it is today. Upstart to draw into island faster, Allure to draw into island faster, E-Tele because normal summoning sucks, and that's all the spells. I'm playing some traps, and that's Call the Haunted. This is one of the cards I'm very iffy about, so this is subject to change. But I feel like floating into Tin Can is pretty relevant if you pop a ship that isn't high level enough. But it might be irrelevant, I'm not sure. I haven't like thought about this too much or like really tested it extensively. But it's definitely much better against Monarchs than it is against the Mirror. But I mean, it can have applications if you're dumping Witch and then bringing it back with this, or bringing back anything really. Like obviously not very good going second. I can totally understand this being cut, but I mean, it's here for now, and this is why this video was made, for feedback. So yeah. Finally, if you've followed this channel regularly, then you'll know that I've talked about this quite a lot. I love this card. I think it's great. It's a cool tech, and I feel like you build your deck optimally for going first, and what better card going first than something that completely shuts down the mirror match and your hardest matchup potentially, and that's Monarchs. So Lady can stop a normal summon, this can stop E-Tele and Island, so they're left with no other play turn one. That's why this is in here. Hits all your hard matchups. Yeah, obviously sucks going second because it's a trap. This is a very heavy going first build, obviously, so change that as you feel necessary, but I really like this. Extra deck is mostly irrelevant. Most of it's, you can change most of it, I guess. F-Zero, this is a pretty important card because it's your Dark Planet out and lets you go for game sometimes. Infinity combo. Lancelot, if you're going for game and you want to stop floating, this can usually deal with that. But yeah, subject to change. Feel free to play 38 instead if you want. Gachi, subject to change if you want. But this is okay for boosting Lady to be bigger than most of your opponent's ships. Herald for combos. I'll talk about that in a moment actually. Cavalry for the mirror match. Volca Gaia for the damage, for the DPS yo. 2 Break Sword for Stormtrooper shenanigans. Grand Pulse lets you combo off with your field spells. Actually, this is only ever time I've ever summoned this was to pop my own town to search something like a Dart Destroyer or a Lady, which is also another reason why I'm considering playing a Kozmo, because it means that you're able to search it out, and that's pretty cool. And finally, to Levier, very important card. Bring back Strawman, bring back Stormtroopers, which lets you bring back more things, and very easy to make, and it lets you go into your F-Zero if necessary. And that's 14 cards in the extra deck. The final card, which I cannot find for the life of me, is Acid Golem. Acid Golem is very relevant because you can make it with Island by special summoning a chicken from your hand and then normal summoning any level 3. And that lets you go into Acid Golem, which is important for outing Majesty's Fiend. So that's why this is in here. 15th card, Acid Golem. But like I said, there's a lot of space here. So yeah, anyway, as I was going to say, most of these combos and stuff, if you don't know them with Island, they're in a separate video, which I'll leave in the description below, so you can go watch that and check out all the different combos that you can do with Fire King Island. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. So I'll leave that there for you to watch. Obviously, you know, let me know what you think about this, what changes you'd make. Final point, of course, is if you've watched this far, give me a hashtag walk in the description, so I know you've watched my video this far, because I always appreciate people, you know, paying attention and watching all the way through. I appreciate you, you loyal, etc, etc. So let me know what you think about the deck, and hashtag walk if you watched this far. And check out the combo video in the description, and see you next time.
Come, face me.